Welcome to the Chit Chat Podcast. We're picking up where the group chat left off.
Where the tea, the truth, and the timeline collide.
I'm Ray.
And I'm Kia.
So pull up.
Because when the homies link up,
it's laughter,
life updates,
and a little light therapy too. Let's chat. Ladies, welcome to this episode of I haven't done that in a while. To look at you, see, you're like, that's what I meant. The Chat Podcast, where we give a mic, if you can see my little mic top, hello, and a seat, show that dunk, to all the things that us ladies want to talk about, and I interceded with want to learn about. That's just putting that in. Mm-hmm. I'm your girl, Ray.
And I'm Kia.
Happy Juneteenth, everybody. What's your clapping thing? Where's your sound effect? It's out. It's not here. We'll put it in later. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. This episode is going to be about exactly that, but from the angle of how come we didn't know so much about it before?
Yeah.
It seems like a big deal. Or even how did we get here? So we really wanted to understand that, take a look at it, and give it its proper due to learn a bit, teach a bit, question a bit.
Yeah, why didn't we learn about it? You had a good point, too, about is it happy? Is it not happy?
Yeah. Well, no, go ahead. You can say that. That's a dichotomy of it. So.
Yeah. Like, how happy is it? Why we didn't know about it? That's the biggest question I think I have. Because I've been talking to, I would say the streets, but the streets is the husband in the house.
I've been talking to the streets. I was talking to the
While he was in the streets, I was like, growing up, did anybody talk to you about Juneteenth? Were there any celebrations at the grandma's house? You know what I'm saying? And he said no, because he was born here. His people are from like Georgia and Florida.
Wait, what's that term you use? Fundamental
Black Americans.
Okay.
Foundational Black Americans, they were here already when the ships came and they stole everything.
That's what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna circle back to that in a minute.
I didn't know
that's what she was talking about. Okay.
It's the ones who were here, because the myth that like Native Americans have the long hair and just the feathers and that kind of stuff. And a lot of the people who were found here, it's been documented that they were Black. It's written, it's in a book someplace. Whenever you hide the truth, you hide it in a book. So, and they didn't hide this one in a book because it's not in a book. Not any that I've seen.
What is not in the book?
So, the whole Juneteenth of it all. We have when the war ended. You have when slavery ended. We do learn that. But you don't learn that for some enslaved people, slavery didn't end for them until 1865 versus 1863 for the other people. So I know we have the actual history of Juneteenth. Juneteenth, which is now a federal holiday, commemorating the emancipation of enslaved African Americans. I'm saying that like it's allegedly African Americans is celebrated on the anniversary of June 19th, 1865, when Major General Gordon Granger read the Proclamation of Freedom for slaves in Galveston, Texas. The order number 3 began most significantly with, the people of Texas are informed that in accordance with the proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. So that is just the actual history of why Juneteenth is what it is. Our question is, why didn't we learn about it?
So, sorry, I'm picking up something, but I do think this is the reason I keep pushing is because, and we're questioning, we're trying to like figure out, right? Because my perspective was, were we taught that slavery ended in some capacity, right?
Yeah.
To some degree.
End of Civil War.
Yes. Okay. That's the thing. The end of the Civil War. And I think there's the assumption that with that, but again, I was telling Kia the other day that I felt like I recall learning about the end, or like the story, or the not about Texas. I call learning about a differentiation between the end of the war and end of slavery, right? But not in the sense of that there was time between it, or that there was like the, like, or that there was or even to the point of thinking about the amount of time one area needed to know, to get the message across. I was telling you that I assumed, and again, this is my 43-year-old mind trying to think back to, again, who knows what,
Pony Express
the
time.
knowledge that I had, or the assumption I made, is that it would take time to communicate from Washington or wherever the heck it came from to get out to the masses. I
Right.
never questioned, and that's the problem, nor did I ever think that there could have been such a long time intentionally before some people knew, and or there could be such a long time intentionally. A long
Right.
time, right? Because again, I'm
Right.
assuming there's a horse and buggy. They didn't text it out. I thought that would take
Trains?
some time. I don't know,
Trains?
girl. I don't think I
We
thought about
looking in the
trains.
interwebs.
I think I was thinking it was just strictly like Paul Revere or whoever they taught us was just riding around on, it had to get passed, it had to be passed around. But I do think I think it's a fair question is why didn't I know? And I say I specifically because, again, I'm not sure what's happening in other people's homes.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely know we didn't have a holiday for it because that's pretty fresh and new.
Mm-mm.
I didn't know about Juneteenth as an actual day of remembrance, like until
Yes.
Blackish.
Blackish, and also what's the other one? Atlanta.
Black is, oh yeah, and Black as fuck.
Black as
Yeah.
Fuck had one, and but Blackish and Atlanta were before
Yeah.
Black AF.
We watched that during
So,
COVID, right? I feel like we
mm-hmm,
watched, that was one we watched together, all of us. Yeah.
mm-hmm. And that's still Kenya Barris who
Yeah.
was leading the charge on that.
Could we segue to him then?
We can. I mean, he's, I guess, the reason that we did hear about it. And he made it a point to really champion Juneteenth becoming a federal holiday because of questions from his children. And because they were questioning the historical validity of other holidays like Columbus Day and even July 4th. So July 4th is America's freedom from, I guess, your Britain, England
Mm-hmm.
at the
Yeah,
time.
that's a no.
But even then, 1776, all people were not free. There were still slaves in 1776.
Mm-hmm.
So Juneteenth, 1865, commemorates the day when all people
American.
are officially free in the
That's
United
a piece
States.
that, you know what? That's also a nuance that I don't think comes through even today.
They just think that it's Black people freedom
But when you say
versus,
that, I love Nikki. Every time it is, but I think yes, without a doubt, it is in regards to the slavery fucking machine that was going on. But the idea of the unification message, or the view, that umbrella message of like all Americans are now free, is a nuance that is not currently screaming or leading in the celebration of Juneteenth. It feels,
right.
and even to the quote unquote allies, or those who are like part of and want to know and respect, I don't even think they have the perspective of, they walk around it delicately like they do some very Black, because they don't want to offend, quote unquote, but I don't think they have the view that it's us, nor do I think Black people have that view either, of like, oh wow, we as Americans are free. This is
Yeah, Black Americans, I think to the point of Kenya Barris, it signifies when all people are free. To Kenya Barris's point, Juneteenth becoming a holiday because he says that because, slavery was such like a systemic scar on the nation, this would be an opportunity for America to be like, so this is the moment when everyone in this country became free. And that's a way to like,
That's what I'm saying.
in
I
a,
don't think
to
anybody looks at
bond
it
it.
that way.
They
Yeah.
don't. And I found it super interesting that that was his intention going forward.
Yeah.
And if we all look at it like that, instead of making it separate, it's
Mhm.
supposed to bring it together.
Exactly.
So
I think
I
that that's a view that
amazing
I'm gonna actively, intentionally go forward with.
thinking about, right?
Right.
I do love that perspective of it
I was
in doing the research for this topic because we didn't grow up learning about it. And I think I told you earlier this week
100%
that learned American history.
Mhm.
You live in New York. You were born in New York, right?
I was.
And
Brooklyn?
then
I'm sorry.
BK,
My
what's
bad.
up?
I'm
What's
sorry, y'all.
up?
Bring it
Yeah,
back
you
to the
gotta
city.
represent. You gotta represent for the BK. So you're born in Brooklyn, not I'm not gonna do
Not the boogie town. No.
oh, they
But
got come for me. Not the Bronx. In the BK, not the
Mhm.
BX.
Yes.
But and I'm born in the Virgin Islands. So we still had United States curriculums growing up. We're both college graduates, and in all of that time, still none of this came across my desk.
Can we
I
go can we go to it?
go to which one?
This is the perspective. Was this shit done on purpose? Let's get to it.
Yes.
Let's
Oh,
get
was it
to
done
it.
on purpose? Well, I could give you something that I found. So
You
this is
always be
from
finding the things. Go ahead,
I'm
girl.
saying, this
Research
is
is a
from
motherfucker.
the college today. Juneteenth was not discussed in mainstream national conversation prior to 2017, primarily because African history curricula heavily whitewashed the narrative of emancipation, framing the end of slavery as a single, neat event driven by Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation. That's what we learned about,
That's what we
rather
did
than
learn about.
a messy delay.
Yes, you said it. This is the nuance that I was saying, right? Like learned about, but never learned about the messiness, about the delay, about a process. Even if it was 100% good intentions, it was
Mm-hmm,
never ever
mm-hmm.
brought to me or again, I can't, they say, I never thought about the process and how, again, the same group of crazies were in charge of that process.
How freedom was delivered. If
Yes,
you make it
if
more
at
of a
all.
like, yeah.
If
Well,
at
it had
all.
the bad stories about them taking slaves, and it had what's it called, hell pit, hell
I don't,
bowl.
girl,
So stuff like that, and bad things happened during this 2 years.
horrible things.
So instead of letting people live and be free, they rather
Kill them all.
unalive them. I don't know, collect insurance because you know what I'm saying? Like, just, I don't know what the mentals are because the mentals be unmentaled. That's a new phrase. Unmentaled situations in
It's
this
like the
country.
nice way of like unhoused.
Unmentaled, which is, it's just crazy, but it's like, what are you thinking? This evilness. So like the process by which, freedom was delivered was different because you had to reach these parts that still had slavery. So I'm assuming was Texas like the furthest point?
That's how I felt. That's what I thought. That's why maybe I made that assumption. Like it got to take a long time to get to Texas on foot, or some shit like that. But it's not
Horseback.
that way, right?
On horseback. I also came across that a flag was made,
Yes.
right? The Juneteenth flag, and that was made in 1977. So I'm like, there's these big swaths of time where even if it was, celebrated in just family houses, like I haven't met one set of Black people that celebrate it before now. Not that I know a whole lot of Black people in the United States. I don't know all of them. I know some of them. And I went to HBCU. You went
But
to a
at the
HBCU.
time, that's just the thing. Like at the time we were at HBCUs, we didn't ask this question directly. This is the part that I'm just trying to like, was it? How do I say this? Like we talked about this the other day about cultural things that we have, and I don't think we
Yeah.
think.
Other people know.
Yeah, but it's not like this active front of lobe thinking. You know what I mean? Of like these things that I'm just used to. All right. Even as we talk about our Caribbean culture, but any element of cultural difference, religion, there's certain, like I don't expect or, like that my non-Catholic friends are going to know the second seven sacraments that I'm going through on the Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Like, is it that those families or whomever just assumed it was theirs, and it wasn't like a thing to like, hey, you ain't celebrating Juneteenth? Or is it,
It's so big. Like, that's why I
is it,
find it so hard. It's like because it's so big and
what is
such a
big
big
about it? Why are
deal,
you saying it's so big?
because it's when because slavery, you hear slavery, 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 12 slavery, Kunta Kinte, 12 years a slave. You hear slavery, slavery, slavery all the time. Why you don't hear about this part of slavery, the freedom part outside of the emancipation? You hear Emancipation Proclamation, but you don't hear that Juneteenth is like the official day that everybody was free. Like it feels what's like a do black people have holidays? They don't have a lot here. So in St. Thomas, they have this thing called Transfer Day. That's not black. That has to do with like changing of hands from Danish to America. Other people don't know that, right? I know it because it's something that I've grown up with. And we celebrate it every year. I was born on Transfer Day. So
Hey,
see,
transfer
cult,
baby.
I was transferred into the world on Transfer Day. So like stuff like that, because you celebrate it, you mark it, you have celebrations inside the culture. Where were the celebrations inside the culture? So even if white America did not mainstream it, why wasn't it on the cultural level? Like, what are we missing on the cultural level that even in I lived in the South, you lived in the South, and still nobody said anything.
No, but the reason I say me,
Mm-hmm.
I cannot say, you're saying definitively, even living in the South and observing and being very well aware, I'm watching a different cultural view of blackness, of black people, right? That I don't know if they were talking about Juneteenth, and I just ignore, like didn't take it in as it wasn't like a celebration. No, it wasn't a big celebration, but
Or even it's the mention of it
that's
for
the
me.
part that I'm saying. I don't know if there was no mention. You're saying you don't
So,
recall there being a mention, but does that mean that it's not mentioned amongst the people? I'm gonna
so
poll. If you see me on my phone, I'm polling.
let's do
You
the
poll.
poll.
Talk,
Let's
talk,
do the
talk.
poll. So my sister-in-law who passed away,
Mhm.
she's from Atlanta. Her
Oh, girl, you took
family is
made it.
is well, she's from Atlanta, and she's she's with it. She's not
She's
oblivious
woke. She's
to
aware.
black things.
Yeah.
And with all of so you have, I'm Black and I'm proud. I feel like there was a resurgence maybe in Juneteenth around then. However, there's another resurgence of like, Black power, fight the power, and all this other stuff in the 90s.
Yeah. I thought
Still,
they said 80s, no? I thought it was like 80s cosplay,
late
like a
late
late
80s,
80s.
90s,
Yes.
that switch over. So there
Yeah.
was still, for our generation growing up in that, like, you're still proud, you're Black, the little African little patch, little circle things,
Oh,
and
shit.
Malcolm X movie. Like, this is what I mean. You learn things, but like, no,
Nobody.
they
In
like
your opinion.
I would, yeah. So I don't think I was around them in June, like my sister-in-law's family, but they celebrate all the big holidays, like the Thanksgivings and Christmases and all this other stuff. But I figured that they would celebrate Juneteenth, and she would take that to her family because I was around them a lot, to where she would be like, "Hey, we're celebrating Juneteenth." No, living in Greensboro, North Carolina, there was never a Juneteenth party. There was cookouts, but there's never a specific Juneteenth.
You think there was June 19th cookouts?
Not, nope, not that
Can
I
we
could remember.
can you ask, because I know your agent, your AI agent, if there's
Let's
how
see,
was
Gemini.
Juneteenth at all, like, like one of those general, like how was Juneteenth celebrated before it was a national holiday? Like let's see what it's in regards to, like, what a world. But again, I do love this topic.
It's so, because we don't have the answer. So this is really great. I would love some engagement online.
Yeah.
Like, did you guys celebrate
No.
Juneteenth growing up in like the
Yeah.
podcast sphere, like the listeners? Like, tell me about y'all Juneteenth experiences before 2017,
Yeah.
because I felt like such a baby that did not like just learning how to walk type stuff. So
What other holidays within the scope of American history do you think are also not that we're not aware of?
say that one more
Yeah,
time.
like what other, I don't want to call them holidays, like what other days or moments
Milestones.
of commemoration, something that needs to be remembered, something that needs to be marked. Yeah.
I
Go, go,
have
go.
answer to the question that
Go,
you
girl.
posed
Yeah, let me tell
before.
you.
So I asked the agent,
Mm-hmm.
the AI agent, and so it's saying long before Juneteenth became a federal holiday in 2021, it was deeply rooted in vibrant community traditions for more than 150 years.
Mhm.
African Americans, particularly in Texas, and
Mm-hmm.
it says in Texas and across the South,
Uh-huh.
have been celebrating. So early celebrations is pure resilience and joy about being free. So that's so that kind of okay. So if it still North Carolina, so I don't know, but maybe it was a super southern thing because Galveston, you know what Galveston is, right?
Yeah.
Below Houston, so that's
Yeah.
way south,
Yeah.
Texas.
So I'm like, this is where I asked. Like, remember the other day I was talking, it makes me think of Louisiana. Louisiana in my mind is one of those. I've had some friends there who grew up there, went back home, blah, blah, blah. But it's what I love about them is that they are deeply rooted in their history. Or, as far as they know a lot about their history. I mean, I've watched documentaries and had conversations where I feel like there are things that impact Black culture, but seem regionally aware. They're regionally aware. And that's the part where I'm asking myself, is it, and not saying we know what America's been doing and so on and so forth about things, but was it that Black people who were aware felt like it was their regional thing or like their thing in their house, their cultural, they didn't think the broad, they didn't have the view of the united of it, but thought it was like what we celebrate in Texas. This is what we do in Texas, not that it was like something, not that it was something to be
National.
yeah, like not even that they were doing anything unusual. It was like it was something that they was like it was it was their Easter. They knew it was them. That's why I brought up like even like my Catholic stuff. Like if there's some history, I maybe again maybe there's probably lots of shit I shouldn't be celebrating because of the Catholicism history. But you know what I'm saying? Like, but as
Yeah.
a people, we don't know all of that. We just know what we're celebrating in the home and da 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 da. And like if I heard that there was something within the Catholicism of my communion that was deeply rooted in Black something, America, would I now start to like go out and say it more? Would just be like, oh, this is what we do. That's where I question like why we didn't share it more because we didn't look at it. We should, but we live in America where we don't, and we know that it's a yes, but we also feel like they don't give a shit about us. So why would we're gonna, like if I say it, they ain't gonna care anyway. So
But what stopped the family to family, person to person, community to community celebrations? So I have some more information.
Yeah.
So in the civil rights era revival, 1960s to 1970s, Juneteenth experienced a massive resurgence.
Where?
1960s to 1970s. This is
All
when the
right.
flag was made. So the flag was made in 1977.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, I'm following.
Okay.
I'm following.
So that makes sense. I was like, remember we were just talking about like Black Power and all of that stuff. So I would expect something to be popping off there. What was the saying?
Yes.
Black and beautiful. Like all of that stuff
I'm
was
Black
a
and
big.
I'm proud, but that was later. That might have been earlier. Actually.
No, all that time. That's what's his name? James Brown. Black and I'm proud. Say it loud.
Right.
Okay, so in 1968, the Poor People's March in Washington, D.C., planned by MLK and carried out after his assassination, intentionally held a Solidarity Day rally on June 19th. So this is in 1968. So they held like a rally, I guess, on a Juneteenth day. Was it? And my other thing is like, was it called Juneteenth? I'm assuming yes.
I think Juneteenth. They've always called it Juneteenth from even back then. And
Okay.
then, yeah.
Okay, so delegates from across the country went home inspired by the event and revised or started Juneteenth traditions in their own states,
Hmm.
transforming it from a Texas-centric event into a national symbol of Black liberation and
Hmm.
cultural pride. So
Hmm.
between the 70s, let's say 1977, when
Hmm.
the flag was made and when we came of age, whether
Hmm.
in the 80s or whatever, I didn't live in continental. I've still lived in the
Hmm.
islands until the 90s. So, and you were born here in
Yeah, but
80s,
I did, but girl, I want to say
but you were
that
still centric
I feel like
in
I might as well have been. I was born
Haitian.
here, but we're an immigrant, girl. I don't know nothing about, we was in our Haitian house, in our Haitian house, doing Haitian things. There's like one example, is like there's a lot of American songs from the 80s. Everybody like, oh, my mom. I'm like, girl, I ain't never heard that in my life because we was listening to what the Haitians was listening to. We ain't know. We didn't know. We wasn't part of
What's
that
that
community.
song?
So yeah, but a lot of
Owala,
stuff. Yeah,
owala,
and that's
owala.
not even Haitian. So that's a
What
whole
is
other
it, though?
song.
What is
Girl,
it?
that
French
song is
Dominican?
yes, it's from one of the other islands. I think it's
The
from Dominica or
Dominica.
say yeah.
Dominica. Okay.
So again, it's a very confusing time. So, but
Another
I'm
French island.
learning. Yes, but they speak
Okay, so
Creole.
that's fair. So, okay, so being culturally not really attached to that and still living inside of the Haitian bubble, but
Hmm.
still being American educated
Hmm.
and but culturally still Haitian. So then you would, and I was like, you would have missed out on the Black American, even if you had friends and stuff, be like, oh yeah, we're doing this thing. That is a part to me that didn't exist.
I agree. I agree.
That's so weird. It's the weirdest thing.
I'm
I still am like, I love this
I'm
topic because it's so,
questioning.
I'm like, gag.
What I'm questioning is, and this is where we would need. And in the future, we're gonna like. I think that's another point for us, and when we are again, we're talking live about like us growing. Is maybe there
Mm-hmm.
are moments of like questions that we have that we want to talk to the people, and we have to identify those early because it'd be great to have thought that, right? Like the point that I keep questioning is, was it discussed, and I was not grown and
There.
woke to care to register it. I don't know if meaning. Hear me out, there are, because it's not my culture and I'm, like there are a lot of families and people and differentness that's happening that I could have overlooked. Like I'm sure my
True.
Polish friends were like, girl, I can't come on Thursday. It's Polish such and
Polish.
such day. And and I didn't write that shit down. As an immigrant, there is a lot of African American things that I feel like are not relevant or are not a big part of my culture. So they might have, and I
Mm-hmm.
just was like, oh, okay, that's cool. Y'all do that, what y'all do, and never took it in as to what it was, what it represented, how it would impact me as an adult, or like there's so much to like my wisdom and the version of myself that I am today
Yeah,
that I'm saying I don't know if I would
that's
have,
fair.
might have not taking it in properly because people were celebrating it. Right? We were in a Black school. There are people from Galveston, Texas that were in the area, you know. I don't they Did they have a day that I missed? So I read it in read it in the flyer and was like, oh, I don't know, that's for them. I don't know. I want to know what was happening in the homes of what I thought we were talking about, the foundational Black people. But I found out that's not who. I mean, like people who are like African American can trace back, like who have hundreds and hundreds, and like, because there's such a melting pot of Blackness now.
Yeah.
I don't know who, and I always think of New Orleans because I feel like these are the people like that are like aware of their own grounding in America as like how far they go back. Do they celebrate that? Is it something they talk about at home? I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I
That's a
want
good
to know.
question. I would love to know that. And to that point, for people who have tribal affiliations and not just from the five civilized tribes, there are other tribes out there
Mhm.
that have accreditation or have like recognition.
Mhm.
Some federal, some not. So
Say more. Say more.
there is a big part, like to the Louisiana point. A lot of people who are Black there have roots to being Native Americans, Indigenous Americans, people who were here first, right?
Yeah.
So if you ever see the Indians like in the colorful garb, and they're at like
Mhm.
Mardi Gras, like that's a tribe, and they have different ones, right? Not the
Yes,
ones
of
that you
course.
know, but there's
Yes.
other ones. And so, one of my friends, he says that his mom would talk about being connected to that
Oh,
tribe.
yeah. That's what I was.
So not fully, but by some grandparent or something. When that whole term, I got Indian in my family,
That's what I was just
came
about to
from,
say. I got
and that's
Cherokee. Yeah.
so even if it's not Cherokee, and I can't name the names because there's so many
There's so
other ones
many.
that are not part of the 5 civilized tribes. That's a whole other conversation. But yeah, so if people, do they recognize that? Do they find themselves part of that situation? I'm not sure. There's some more information. So state recognition and beyond. This is from the 1980s to the 2000s, right? So by the 20th century, Juneteenth evolved into a large-scale, weekend-long block party festival. Where the hell was I? And
Telling
I
you.
would say I was wokish, right? And I'm
You
gonna
are
still.
woke-ish.
I feel like I'm always been awake, child, and people is just catching up. And
Yeah.
yes, I had a film over my eyes, but I grew up with a lot of strong cultural identity like you did, but I was still educated in American stuff. So I was always like wanting to know more, wanting to know more. And I remember, and I also said I had African American history like in college, and African history and a bunch of stuff, and still did not hear about this. Or maybe did I miss that class? I could have, child. I don't know. So in 1979, Texas state legislator Al Edwards introduced a bill to make Juneteenth an official state holiday. From 1979, it was on the
See?
books.
But in their town.
So in Texas state,
Yeah.
the bill passed, and on January 1st, 1980, Texas became the first state to grant it official status. Over the next 4 decades, activists pushed for other states to follow suit, leading widespread local recognition before the federal declaration in 2021. So it's been like 40 years was fighting to get it for a national holiday. So Texas was the first. See, I ain't know all this. Where were the damn parties at? Where was the cookout? Where was my?
In Texas. I
I
don't think we
get.
were there.
So I find that very interesting. There's all these traditions that are a part of the Juneteenth-ness, the Juneteenth-ness of it all. So some of these are cookouts. There's
Yep.
historical readings, events, feasts are central. Black Eyed Peas. I've heard of that. Collard
Yeah.
greens.
Is that where that's from? Because then if that's the case, right, like
It's called
is
good fortune food.
this, yeah, like this makes me think like, okay, there were pieces. If it's
Mm.
sourced in that, because we all know about Black Eyed Peas and da-da-da-da-da, like, do even African Americans know that some of the source of this stuff is from this celebration of things? I'm
Me?
enthralled.
I'm enthralled. And I know people might look at this like, what? They don't know it? No. And this is for all the other people that don't know. Because I know people are fronting, some of them, like they know. And for the ones like us who don't, hopefully you're getting something from this, because I find it amazing. So you have dishes, smoked barbecue, black eyed peas, collard greens, cornbread and watermelon.
But ain't this just barbecue food? Is this specific? No, right now I'm like, wait, is this barbecue food that we didn't realize was came from this? Is this like birthed from Juneteenth celebration? Or is this
That's a good question. That's a good one. That's a good one. Like, so we've been doing this whole time?
Yeah, and didn't know.
I think so. So they have, I think because the colors are like red, green, and black, right? They have the red food thing, red desserts. So the red food is hibiscus tea, which is also known as sorrel.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Wait.
I don't know why it's called in Haiti, but sorrel.
But sorrel is from
Jamaica.
where? Yes. I love
Jamaica.
Girl, I don't know what they call it in Haiti either, but I know what they call it in
love
Jamaica.
sorrel. Yes.
That's my favorite.
They call it a different name. It's called zobo. So what's zobo?
I don't know. That's what I said. You don't know what I said. I said, I don't know, but I like it.
Zobo, there's strawberry soda and red punch. And then the desserts, red velvet cake and strawberry pie. I didn't know what a red velvet cake was until moving to the United States.
Yes.
So that's not something that we had in St. Thomas. So, regional, cultural, but
That's the part that I'm saying. I feel like I was in continental United States before you were, right? Doorbell. So it does it as a culturally, I still was in my own bubble. I feel like a lot of people live in their bubble
yeah.
of themselves.
But I felt even like coming to North Carolina, having, in-laws that are for the most part American people
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
still not clocking it. It's so not like me. I love everything Black people. And I love that I've learned, like, I would ask, people questions about other Black stuff and other Black moments. And some people don't know. I felt like there was such a gap in the
Mhm.
knowledge. But so
Mm.
it's odd. And I felt like it was something that I should know
Mhm.
and was gassed that I didn't.
That's the part I think. I think because I do think if you are someone who is hyper aware of the dynamics of being Black in America, in the United
Mhm.
States of America. I think that that's one of the big things of kind of like you're surprised. Like I clock this stuff, and I didn't
Yes.
this didn't come across, and why?
Didn't clock it. And having African American friends
Mhm.
throughout the years, like people who are from here. Like I had a roommate, and this is probably why it's gagging because my experience with just Black people in the South,
Mhm.
they're from the South. It's not like they're from the North and they moved to the South so
Mhm.
they didn't know. They are like their parents are from here. And I had like a roommate. She never talked about no damn Juneteenth. Like Black people, HBCU, no Juneteenth celebrations on campus. Nothing. I went to summer school. That's why I'm so mad about it. I'm like, I'm hot.
It's like
I didn't
I think
know.
it's a mentality shift that's happening too,
Mm.
because it's our right. And I think that there's a desire for more connectivity to the
Mm-hmm.
history. I think there's a desire to know more, to be more attached to like I think what has unlocked in the past few years for me and my generation or my purview is that there is
Mm-hmm.
a much more even there's much more of a desire to know what you don't know, do all the fake news, all the bullshit. I do think that people are
Yes.
more it's because there's two levels of it. There's a level
Mm-hmm.
of ignorance of I don't know what I don't know. Then there's a level of acknowledging there's a lot I don't know, right? Because you have to get
Mm-hmm.
there first. You don't
Yeah.
even know you don't know. Then now I
Yeah.
know I don't know. And then there's a
Mm-hmm.
desire to I want to know what I don't know, right?
Yes.
And I think that I'm seeing a lot of that. I want to know what I don't know, and even myself is someone who, again, I love to learn. I think I like blah 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 blah
Mm-hmm.
blah. I am finding out there's a lot about Haiti and Haitian history that I don't know that I want to
Mm-hmm.
know, just because it's surprising. The Mount of Monte Cristo. You've heard of that. It's like a story. It's the Zorro
Mm-hmm.
and the Three Musketeers and things like that.
Yeah.
Girl, I found out or I'm learning that that man who wrote it was Black. It was about his Black
Mm.
daddy, okay? And he has Haitian roots, so I'm like, who, what, huh, But here's another
Appropriation.
side. Yes. So here's
Mm-hmm.
another side of it.
And that's amazing. I want to learn more about that.
I'm going to comment on the appropriation as well, but I'm afraid
Of learning?
constantly hearing about the atrocities. I know they're there, but when you get
Mm-hmm.
in and you dig into the detail, it goes to James Baldwin. You know what I'm saying in that comment?
Yeah.
An educated and an aware Black person
It's
is
an
you're
angry one.
angry all the time. And a
Yeah.
bit of self-preservation for me is like I know it's there, but the details, the horror, you know, so I'm hoping to find a balance because that is right. We
Mm-hmm.
aren't all horror and it's in what they have done to us. There's so
Right.
much more beauty and history, and that in itself is not yet discussed enough or I'm
No.
knowledgeable enough. So I'm trying to find the
Right.
balance,
Yeah.
but it's a scary thing.
Agreed. And yes, 100% on the more you know. This is why I'm not like, well, I don't care what people say. I've been awake. right? I've been awake for a long time. And a lot of things that I've thought, clocked, realized, woke up and realized, and things that people think now, I have been thinking these things from way back in like 2010, 2011. And even that's late. So theory is a veil has lifted to the 2020. A veil has been lifted. And this is that whole desire to learn what you don't know, get, all of that stuff. Because you're more open to it. Because if you think back to who you were before and how clouded your shit was, because you believed what they told you at face value, now you're like, you realize. And we only have so much time here. So it's like, what can we do about it? I think it's tell the stories and continue to tell the stories. I think that's one way. Like how you were saying, like in the homes, these things are practiced and they tell the youth, and then they're supposed to take it forward. But I think it needs to be louder, because this whole Juneteenth thing like slipped through a crack and fell down a well. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It would have been an honorable mention somewhere. Even
What else?
it's a lot more. And some people are not ready for it. Some people say transatlantic slave trade was not as big as they say it was, because of just population and the millions of people who they say they brought were here already. Not saying that they didn't bring people. I think that they did bring people. I just think they didn't bring as many people as they said. And when they portray someone who's a native, they don't look like this. They're usually light skinned with wavy hair. And quiet as it is kept, they're doing DNA now, and they're Filipino. They're Vietnamese, right? So stuff like that is happening. And a lot of the $5 Indians, the Caucasian one,
What did you just call them?
$5 Indians.
I'm sorry. What is that?
So the $5 Indian is a white people that pay to be on the Dawes rolls, and that those are people claiming to be native so that they can get access to the land, because it's written that this land belongs to the natives, and this is why they made everybody African American, so they had no claim to the land.
Okay.
So if you're African American, that means you're from over there. You have no claim to the land here. And that they brought all these people from Eurasia, 1865 to 1900s, Ellis Island, all of that stuff, gave them a whole bunch of land that they had stolen. The lie is that they came over here and they had a handful of Indians. They helped them out, blah, blah, lie. So they were fighting. They were fighting.
Perspective.
They were tussling here for hundreds of years until they unfortunately lost. A lot of places were named. They came here and they saw castles. The way we see history isn't accurate. Like all these big, huge buildings that look old, they look like they're from Europe, but they're saying like, oh, they just came over here and replicated whatever. They did not. They didn't. They were here already. It's like, just the lies are so big. They're enormous. They're like scathing.
Yeah.
And some people are not ready to know it. And even for me, like when I say these things to people, they don't necessarily believe me, because I am like listening to other historians who make this their point to continue to educate people. So it's a lot, girl. It's a lot.
I think for this topic, before we head out, right? Let's talk
Yeah.
about what about Juneteenth do you think we want to like put out there? Like any like specific facts about not about it not getting spread, but just about it. I just recently did the board at my kid's school on Juneteenth, right? And like there was like these facts. So it was in 19 this and da da da, and Joe Biden this, or blah 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 blah, whatever. But if there's some things that we just want to like, hey, or some points that you feel like let's just put out there. And then two, my question to you specifically, I was gonna ask you something else, but I feel like that's for another day, is what if you had to pick like I don't know, I don't want to say literature, but maybe one or two of the biggest things that you think like that you've learned recently that you feel like people should go look into?
Okay.
A little, like just one, even. I won't even drop. I won't make you think too hard on it. Like y'all go look this up. What would that be? So first, let's do Juneteenth. Like, I know you have a lot. You have so much information that you always pull. Is there anything beyond the date and how we don't know about it, blah blah blah, that we want to make sure that the people walk away with?
Well, I went over like the foods and the traditions and the different things. So that's a big thing that I did not necessarily know before researching this topic.
Mhm.
And I'm glad that I know now. And
Mhm.
it's something that you can continue. Definitely become more familiar with the tradition, right? And making sure your kids know like the dates, make sure they know
Mhm.
why it's celebrated.
Mhm.
The biggest takeaway is that for me was Kenya Barris's intention
Mhm.
about making it something that could help heal the country and bring people together. But
Mhm.
it didn't necessarily go that way. But going forward with it being like something that could help,
Yep.
mark
Mhm.
a great time in the country where it was over. A heinous thing was now over. The big things. Can we talk about the flag real quick? I'll probably have a picture of the flag. The flag was created in 1977 by activist Ben Hayes, and he
Okay.
was the founder
Perfect.
of National Juneteenth Celebration Foundation. So there is an arc. So it has the arc. The arch is for Hugh, or arc is for New Horizons. The star, which is white in the center,
Mhm.
both that represents both Texas, known as the Lone Star State, and the freedom of African Americans in all 50 states. And then the burst, I guess the burst is around the star. The bursting outline around the star is inspired by a nova, an astronomical event that
Ooh,
looks like a new star in the sky. This
I like
represents
that.
new beginnings for African Americans.
That.
So
I
I love
love that.
the
That's so
intentionality of it.
intentional. Yes.
Yeah, I
I
love
love
that.
that.
So we could walk away at least knowing that too.
I
I love
think
that.
we also need to give a shout out though a little bit. And there's a bunch of people, but I really do think that Mr. Kenya Barris needs a shout out, right? Like
100%.
he might be the like reading rainbow of Juneteenth or like the LeVar Burton, like what he
Yes.
done to the holiday and then again, I think by default unlocks so much of our desire to know and learn a little bit more. Cause I'm like,
More.
what else are we not celebrating or not, or just not aware of that is just
Yeah.
impactful? And before we close out again, cause girl, I have my husband is like, girl, where you still in there recording this thing? I want to know that thing. I'm really curious. What is the topic that you think Black people or people, actually, people, because we are a people, and I think that a lot of our allies might want to know too.
Mhm.
What should we go look into?
So I think people should go look into the real origins of this country. It's daunting, and it's what happens before, right? People should understand what happened before white people showed up, because there was thousands of years of history here,
Mm,
and you should go look into that
that's fair. This
before
big
just
ass piece
buying
of land, and y'all
us.
just thought this. Yes,
Look
right.
into that. And that will open a lot of eyes to a lot of things. And there are a lot of books about it, believe it or not.
Drop them
And
joints in the
we'll
in the
drop them
in
in
the
the,
thing in the
yes,
thing.
in the description. We'll drop books, we'll drop people and other people you should be following and or
Yes.
looking into.
Before we
But
go,
yeah.
I got a few responses from my survey, and I think as normal, I'll try to make some creative and post as we get more. But we have a
Yeah.
few, and I sent it to again. I have a very variety of like black, white, green people because I think
Yeah.
this one is very relevant to people. I don't know. I should have asked which races in the question, but I didn't. I kept it to like 3 to 4 questions. And the question number one is: before today, had you heard of Juneteenth? 100 people said yes. 100%. Everybody said they
Okay.
have. And I'm not going to go by numbers, like absolute numbers, it's just by the percentages. And question two was approximately when did you first learn about Juneteenth? Smallest is 10%. One person said in 1990 to 1999. Is that
Mm,
you? Did you answer this? Is this you, Kia?
2017, child. That's when I learned about it.
The biggest portion is between 20,000, like 20, 2000, 20,000. I sound like an old lady, to 2009.
Okay.
30% said 2010 to 2019.
Mm.
And then there's a group that said a second smallest group is 2020 and after. So they're
Mm.
fresh. And where did you first learn about Juneteenth? Select all that apply. The biggest one is through friends and community. We have a tie for school. We have a
Mm.
tie for TV, movies, documentation. We have a tie for social media. So I think school, I want
Mm.
to ask these folks, like, where are you at? And when? Where did you go to school? And how old are you? Are you 12? I don't think I sent it to anybody
I was like,
else.
that's cool.
Yeah. Then there is family and news and things like that, but that's very low. And my favorite question, which I wish I could have dug in, do you think it's a Black Americans or an Americans holiday? And I put like Americans, not apostrophe, like Americans as a total group or like a Black people's group holiday. And 70% think it's a Black Americans holiday and 30% think it's Americans holiday. So just
And
curious.
that's like interesting.
Yeah.
I like that last one is very telling.
Yep.
But I'm glad it wasn't 100, to be honest.
Yeah.
I like that 30% said all Americans.
So
all
I'm going to
people.
let this run. And when we air this, we will have like the final details and the final numbers. But I do think it is quite fascinating. You want to close out, my love?
Yeah, this is one of my favorite topics so far. We've had some other really good ones. We have some good ones coming up too. But this is one of my favorite topics because I did not know a lot about it. And I'm glad that we have started the conversation. This is not the end. In the comments, guys, and tell us when you first heard about Juneteenth. Put that in the comments. Did your family have Juneteenth celebrations when you were growing up? Where are you from? Where were you living? And can I come? You want to go?
I didn't expect that, girl. Yes. Let's celebrate.
You want to come? Let's go. Sorry, I'm texting, but yeah, so definitely.
I love this.
This is a good topic. So, all right, guys, the chat is now closed. If this conversation hit home, make sure you like, subscribe, and share this episode with a friend who would definitely have something to say about this chat. And don't forget to come back next week for another conversation as illuminating as this one.
I hope we come back next week, girl.
Next
episode.
Come back next week for another episode. Okay. This is how we do it. And then we
miss something. We need like love, peace, and hair grease, or like soul or something. We got to end with something like
We totally can, but I would also love our viewers to know that they could watch us on YouTube. Besides watching us on YouTube, they can catch us on any of your favorite podcast platforms. That includes Deezer, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Amazon. So this is the Chit Chat Podcast, and we're going to do love, peace, and soul.
I don't know what we're going to do. We're going to come up with something real cool.
We wish you love, peace, and
soul. Bye.
I like that. Bye.